Hey everyone, so in the last video we looked at local variables, and that the idea of a local variable was that its scope was limited to the section of code in which we defined it. So we don't necessarily declare variables in Ruby, we define them. In this video what we should do is move on to look at global variables, and you'll remember that global variables are in fact global instance and class variables use a sigil, and the sigil for global variables is the $. Let's have a look then at the use of global variables and how we can prove that they are global, that they're not local, and what the effect of perhaps changing them from global to local is once we've declared them. The thing with global variables, it's generally suggested that you don't use them, partly because once you've got that global sort of view, if this is, whoops, thought we were on a box there, if this is your script, as we said before, once you declare a global variable here, it's available in any code block. The risk is that if you declare a global variable in some other place, and then something is relying on that global variable, if you change it down here in some way, then obviously you're affecting everything else that might be wanting to use that global variable, its value, its name, etc. So they can be pretty risky, and the idea is that you should be using local variables generally, because there are examples, and hopefully we'll be able to come up with a few of where you want to use global variables. So let's have a look at defining one. In fact, we can just go straight away in a similar way to how we declared a local variable, but we'll give it a descriptive name, and we'll call it global variable. So that is its name, that is the reference now, just like before. Don't get confused. I know I did, but don't get confused because you see symbols here and you think it's some kind of reference or something. I mean, it is a reference, but it's not some other bizarre object. This is a variable, global variable, with its $sigil. And using, no doubt, my worn out example, let's think of, right, here's a scenario. We've got the global variable in a video game, and it's, in fact, you know what we'll call it? We'll call it global hero name. As you can tell, I'm kind of making this up as I go along, just trying to think of a good example. So let's say we've got this global hero name that is constant throughout the game. So we've said we won't use a local, we'll declare it on a global variable. Okay, so now we need to check, or come up with a test for how we can show that this is truly global. So if we define a method called getHeroName, we just think this through and we can get some, in fact let's do that, get some user input. So, what's the hero called, let's say. Let me just use my usual convention of putting a new line in, and in fact let's shake it up by putting this as a local variable. Right, so hero name choice is, we'll do a gets and we'll do a chomp, because remember we looked at how gets and print and puts can add characters, so we'll put the chomp in there. What else? In fact, we can, let's do a test to see if the player chooses a hero name that is the same as a global hero name. So if hero name choice is absolutely the same as global hero name. The intercapping isn't critical, but let's put it in. Then, you know, we'll say, I don't know, correct. The hero is indeed called. Actually, then let's put a substitution, just to be clever. It would be what, global hero name? Hope you're following this. I'm just trying to think quickly of a way to essentially, whoops, bury this global variable in, you know, little blocks of code here. Okay, so it's called, so it's global hero name, you know, I don't know, something witty. The orc hugs you. Hurrah, great, well done. The orc hugs you. Okay. Oops, let me just zoom out a little bit, hopefully you can still see that. Right. So let's just get this right. Of course we need an else here. Else. What would it just be? Oops. Nope. Heroes. That's not the hero's name. And the orc. You know, what would an orc do? Hit you for, I don't know, 10 points of damage? What would an orc hit for? DMG. And then we'll, in fact, we'll put a break as a new line on the end of all of these, just for a little syntactic loveliness. Right, let's just check this. Okay, so we've finished the else. Well, we just end the if, and any if, right? And that's pretty much the definition, isn't it? So we can end the definition as well. Okay, let's tidy my code up there. That was good. Right. So then what we want to do, we want to call, when we run the script, we want to call get hero name, right? So let's just put, call the method. Let's just remind ourselves. Comment, comment, comment. And actually what we can do, just again, not to labour the script too much, but what we can actually do is we can do a test to see if global hero name is a global variable. So we can go global, let's think of, what would you say, global variables include global hero name, and the answer to this is it's either going to be true or false. And what we'll do, we've done the substitution, so we can say, is it underscore? This is where I get caught out now and just look like I don't know what I'm doing. Global variables dot include, an include method, include query. I love the way it does that. I think it's a semicolon. Global hero name. So that will come up with either, so, sorry, pointing to the screen, that doesn't work. So that will come up with either, oops, true or false. So this, the response to this, of whether, hang on, of whether global hero name is included in the global variables is true or false. So it will come up with global hero name, true or false. So let's just do the \n and close that. You watch me get some kind of error now. Let's save this down. Right, so what we're doing here is declaring at the same level as the local variable in the previous example, but we're declaring a global variable, right? And then burying references to it within a def in an if, and then, you know, in a string substitution here, which is not, it's basically the same level as the if statement. So, and then just outside here, it's at the same level. Okay, so let's have a look and see if that works. So what works is we should get prompted. You put a username in, hero name. If it's correct, then we get this up here. Must have stopped pointing at the screen. And if it's incorrect, we'd go to here. Okay, so global, what did I call this? Global variable 1.rb. Okay, so what's the hero called? Okay, so if we go in banana, we should get the hero's name. Okay. Interesting. Hero name choice. Let me just indicate that to make it clear. Get hero name. Global hero name. Let's see what I've done wrong here. Obviously not that, but let's include it anyway. Get hero name. Interesting. Okay, let's just try that again. Undefined local variable. Hero name choice. What? Get hero name. What have I done wrong there? So end the if, I end the def. Don't you just love it when this happens? Okay. Interesting. Not entirely sure what I did wrong there. But there we go. Okay. So obviously banana does not equal the global hero name, so we've gone to the oops statement. And we're saying here, do the global variables include global hero name? And it's true. So we've proven, in fact let's just run that again, just so we really have proven. What do we say? Zargon. Correct, the hero is called Zargon. Right, so in order for us to get these responses, this global hero name here is obviously reachable from within this if statement. In fact, just as a quick example, let's change it to what is essentially a local. Let's just get rid of that, we don't need that for now. A local variable. Let's see if that works. And in theory it shouldn't, because this local variable should not be reachable in here. Let's check the effect. So let's call it again. Yep. What's the hero called? So we go Zargon. It should go yes, that's right. Broken. Get hero name, undefined local variable or method. There's a problem here, right? So call it again. We'll choose our silly name, and again it's broken. But if we make this local to the definition, in fact let's put it at the top here. So this is now local to the method, sorry. Let's see if that works. Zargon. Oh, okay, now it seems to be working. Great. So we can see the effect of a global variable, which we've now made into a local one, and how, you know, if it's a local variable, we know this anyway from the previous example, but if it's a local variable outside of the code block, you can't get to it, but if it's global, oops, don't break it, then you will be able to get to it. And there we go. That is an example of how global variables work in comparison to local variables. Next ones, we'll look at the instance and the class variables, which pretty much rounds off our look at variables, and then we can crack on with some proper scripting. Alright.